learn. There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here, we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. We are a little late today because the guest that we had, serendipitously did not show up. And so that gives us the opportunity to do something we haven't yet done. And I want to do it now because before she loses her nerve, Rochelle, how are ya?
I'm good. You're making me nervous. But as Kevin said, everything is serendipitous, right? We have these experiences, we have these timings, and he taught me, yes, it's all for a reason. And now we get to show you guys that exact truth.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is turn this over to you, and you are the host, and I'll get to be the guest. And so you can ask me anything you want.
Welcome, Mr. Kevin McDonald. And how are you today? I'm wondering, so we all have a little bit of a background on Kevin, right? There's been these timings, and there's been these phrases, and there's been experiences that have shifted where you've come and how you've been able to help people. What is that like for you when you go to sleep at night? Share that with us.
It's it really is kind of magical because when I stop and think, when I look at the show and I look at the 1,262 episodes and I look at my relationship with you and with the back team and with so many of the guests that we've had, it's like, it's a magical experience for me. Every day. As a matter of fact, Saturdays and Sundays when I don't get to talk to you and I don't get to talk to our guests, it's like, oh crap, what am I going to do now? Okay, the Seahawks are on, they're losing. Okay, screw that. The Mariners are on, they lost. Okay, screw that. And it's like I just live for these moments because as you grow older and you get to live your dreams, it is the most remarkable thing that I can possibly imagine. And I've learned so much from so many people that have been on the show, and I've learned from you. I've learned a ton from you and your resilience, your strength, how you have grown in our time together. I have said this on the show, and I'll say it now. I am the luckiest man alive.
And I think we all deserve to feel that way. And that's why you've been able to feel that way, right? Because you were maybe one of those people at my age in a different world. And what is it like to look back?
It is pretty remarkable because I've got, how many stories that I've got from my past. Oh, and Melissa, and Melissa is here, I think, and she's late, and let's see if we can add her to the stage, and then she goes away. That's the story of my life. Sometimes they're here, sometimes they go away. But to answer your question, I have so many moments in time so many memories of when I was standing in front of the Cub Scout pack, when I was a coach at Little League, when I was standing in a room full of people that I was the general manager of, and also some of the negative things. But over time, when you get to be my age, the negative stuff goes away because there's positive learning that I can get from every bit of it. And even the funny parts of where somebody did me wrong and then karma came along, and I've got some stories around that as well. So sometimes it's hard to fall asleep because I've got so many thoughts rattling through my head, and so do you.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely know what that feels like, and it proves that we're human, right? Because it doesn't matter whether you're maybe even 5 years old and you're unaware of those thoughts coming through your brain, or there's an 80-year-old version of you, but you've helped me learn that where I'm at is where I am involved to be and why. And I think we all deserve that. I mean, Kevin, I think about when you were my age and what that was like for you and the experience and um the learning, right? Because please tell me, please tell everybody who is listening to this that at whatever age you are, there's a point to where you have a little more self-awareness, but you question a lot as to what's to come when you make those changes. And I know that we all have that experience, but to be able to see the other side is, please tell me, it's far greater than you could have imagined.
Everything in my life has flowed from one experience to the next, and it's all been in perfect harmony. Even the negative parts, it's all been perfectly designed to take me to where I am today, where I can be of service. I've always wanted to be of service. Even when I was a host at Denny's, I even had, haven't told you this part yet, but when I was boxing, and they told me, "You're going to be the world champion," and stuff. And I went to work for this Denny's, and I was thinking to myself that I will become champion of the world, and then I'll be the host at Denny's, and I'll invite people in, and I'll be famous, and they will love to. So it was never even it was all about service. And I love people, and I always have. And even when I was a little kid, my grandmother said, you were in the playpen, and I'd pick you up and I'd put you down, and you'd say, "Okay, see you next time." And I was just always a happy kid.
But
And
Kevin, you prove the opposite of that too. Because you've showed me a different side of that. I used to say, "Oh, I don't like people. Not a people person. Look at me. Hello, Rochelle." You are sharing your face across every platform that we know possible now to media. And was there a moment you felt that way, Kevin, or were you just very trusting of it from an early age?
when I started doing radio, I was at the grand old age of 42 and or so, and I had been in management, and I'd been in front of people, and I'd done all of that, but this was just an extension of that. So I've always felt really comfortable doing this the way that I do it. And but at the same time, there was a real long point in time when wasn't sure if I was any good.
Yeah.
And I had to get validation from people that said, "No, you know what? You're actually pretty good at what you do." And but then it became a passion of mine and a mission to give back. And that's what I'm trying to do with this show and with our relationship and the relationship that I have with other people. Because there was a point in time, Rochelle, all those relationships went away.
Yeah.
Everyone. I had
Yeah.
none. When my wife left, she took everybody with her,
Mhm.
and her new boyfriend. And all of that stuff went away. But you know what? It became a solidifying experience for me, because now I recognize I don't need to have anybody to fulfill me. I took it
Mhm.
upon myself to fulfill myself.
Yeah.
And because I would do that, now I can give back freely, honestly, and with love. And that's a major thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you share that, Kevin, because a lot of us think, well, I'm alone. I don't have friends. I don't have this. I don't have that. I am not. And maybe that's not true. It's just what we decide to believe because as you've taken this on, you've helped me realize the same thing. And you've also, please tell me that you've seen things in yourself that helped you validate your purpose because when you're living in your purpose, it doesn't seem so intense just to survive. right? You actually get to live and enjoy it along the way.
Yeah. Well, survival is not a big thing. And Melissa has joined us. Let's see if she can join in with us. Melissa, unmute yourself, my dear. Are you there?
Hi, girl.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
Melissa.
And there she goes.
That
she,
was just
she
rude.
that
That's
she
like a
was.
teaser. Tell us about it.
I
But life
know.
produces those. As I was just saying, Kevin, you have all these little teasers and they're there to test you. Are you sure you want this? Are you sure you want that? How can I validate what you're living in and why? Isn't that like a part of the process and we're
Yep.
not supposed to be so afraid or so leery of it?
There was a point in time when I was frightened of my job, or I was frightened of would people not like me, and all of those things, the normal human frailty stuff that we all go through.
Yeah.
And then Brichelle, I look back at myself. I showed you a picture of when I was 23.
Mhm.
And I was looking at that, going, and Melissa's back. Let's see if she can stay this time.
Yeah.
Melissa, are you there? Can you
Hi,
stay?
I
Don't
keep
go.
scaring. Hi guys, it keeps kicking me out.
I don't
I
imagine. Or
had that happen yesterday, girl, as long as I'm not alone.
what browser are you using?
Yeah, no, it kept let me see right here. The Asus browser right now. I'm on the StreamYard right now, guys. Like it last time we didn't have problems.
I
Yeah, no,
know.
we're unable to see your face, but we can hear you loud and clear, Melissa. I don't know if you've heard the conversation coming in. I love to redo the show with you so we have full time, but Kevin is
Yes.
sharing with us exactly is what you're talking about, right? Life happens, things happen, and the
Yeah.
way that we handle them and maneuver through them is the whole meaning of life.
Yes. Yeah, I heard some of what he was saying, was talking about. Today's been a day. I mean, and we have to roll with the punches. That's what life is about. If
Yep.
we have to reschedule so I can be on a, then we can do that. But we can't let it stop us, right? It's
No
hiccups,
way.
it's minor hiccups,
No
and we
way.
have to move forward. It's a little frustrating. Let's be honest and be real and be human. But I believe at the same time, there's the right time for everything. So this is meant to teach us patience for sure.
Well, Melissa, I've got a suggestion. Can we get you to stay on with us, and then you and Brichelle can interview me?
Sure. This sounds like a
Talk
plan.
about an extra opportunity. That's what this is all about, right?
Yes. Sounds great.
Well, so Melissa, what do you know about little old me?
So I was hearing you earlier. So like I kind of was like Facebook stalking you and social media stalking you. And so I do know like just by what I've heard about you is that I mean this is something that you started like with a humble beginning and you've gone through some, I would say, a lot of things in your life and it didn't stop you. I know that for a little bit it was on hold and I know that you came back and you're wanting to come back stronger. So I know that you've had a lot of incidences in life happen to you with your wife and well, your former wife, and I know that you're strong. I know that you keep pushing forward, and you're an entrepreneur, and you have this show to reach others out there and to be a voice and for people to move forward, to be strong and not let life get them down. To no matter what happens, no matter what obstacles, you're here to hear everyone's individual stories. That way it can help others to push forward.
Well, and thank you for saying that. Brichelle, that's pretty cool, huh?
I couldn't have said it any better. Melissa, thank you for finally joining on after 4 tries and being
Yes.
able to put in words what I can't. Because we all see things from a different perspective. There's different visions, there's different views, and it's supposed to be that way because when
Yeah.
we meet each other in those references, we can change the perspective. I think that's probably the smartest thing I've ever said, and I've been saying that a lot lately, but I'm learning a lot. And that's the whole point of life is if you don't know any more, you can't know any better. So why
Exactly.
are we so afraid of learning? And I think that's what it's come down to. And Kevin, you've like Melissa said, you've learned through those things and you're here to prove that example and you're here to make this possible. Um, I don't think words can cover how important that is to people generations down the line.
And by the way, our friend Samuel is here,
Hi,
and
Samuel.
Samuel, I want you. If you have any questions for me, I would love for you to. I mean, this is all about me, after all, don't you know? But although do have to say that there are some things in my life that have happened that I have not heard have happened to anybody else that's still living. As an example, when I was 11 years old, my brother hung me by my neck from a tree, and stuff, and I survived that, and then it's just. It's an incredible. If I need, I guess I need to write a book.
Yeah.
Isabel told me I need to write a
Yes,
book.
you do.
So
Yes, yes. Isabel's not wrong. Shout out to Isabel. We absolutely love her. And thank you for telling Kevin that. I'll make sure she listens to this. But Kevin, it's those examples. If I don't know if you want to take a break since we're halfway through, if you want to still do that. But I'm
nah.
thinking of how important it is for people don't talk about their experiences so openly, right? We're more challenged as to learning about them and growing from them. But there's a power in talking about it. And you there's also that side of human boys. I hate to break it to you. You guys are kind of destructive. Most times and that's how you show love, but also there's another side of that that is totally possible without maybe creating trauma that's unnecessary. Do you feel the same way, Melissa?
Yes, I do. I do feel the same way for sure. I
So
do.
Kevin, now that you've come through that, how do you feel?
Well, like I said earlier in the show, and Melissa, it is great to see you again, and we are
Same
going to have
here.
you on, and we're going to redo the show, and we're going to test everything and make sure that it's good, and then we're going to have you on the show again because I value you as a human being and what you're doing, and like I do everybody, and it is. I can only tell you, and you're a brand new podcaster. You just started out doing podcasts and stuff, and I hope that you continue doing it and never quit, because that's what fuels me and fuels my life. I have friends all over the world now that and to even reflect on that is a little gaudy, because it's like, who the hell am I to do what I'm doing? Um, because there was a long time when I felt like I wasn't valuable and stuff. But I've gotten through that, and now I realize that the contribution that I can make is extraordinary with the people that I get to meet, and that we get to talk about all kinds of different stuff. And
Mhm.
Melissa, you are just an incredible, and by the way, Rochelle was here and now she's not. Hopefully she'll be back. So in
Okay.
any event, Melissa, it's great to talk to you. And so let's give people a preview a little bit about what we're going to talk about when we do the show.
So we will be talking about, I do have a book that recently came out that I've written, and it's called Your Destiny Determines Your Warfare. And so in the book, it's a little bit of tragedy and testimony of, some things that I went through. I don't want to give too much away because I want you to buy my book, of course. But
Of course.
anyways, it talks about a lot of the things that I went through and the steps that I took to heal. So
And
I talk about
healing,
spiritual
yeah.
warfare in there.
And healing is an adventure, and it's never a destination because we're never done healing and
Exactly.
growing and having our adventure through life. And tell me how you feel about this statement. I believe life is a grand adventure to be enjoyed and to learn and to enjoy each other and to be kind and thoughtful and all that kind of good stuff. Do you agree with any of that?
I agree with it. But on a realistic point of view, I am medium about that statement because I believe that life is an adventure and it is to be enjoyed. But a lot of people out there don't see it that way. So like when we say things like that, of course I want to be positive, but I want people out there, I want to be real on the people's expectations because a lot of people don't feel that way, unfortunately, Kevin, and that's why I'm here. So the preview on that is healing, and without healing, people do not believe in that statement you just made.
I know, but it is something that they can change. They can do
Exactly.
if they choose.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's so my mission. So I'm a domestic violence advocate. Okay. I'm an author and I've been in the medical field since 2009. So I believe that it's my purpose to help people heal in more ways than just one. But I really want to help people with the post-trauma healing. So I want to get people to that place of where the statement that you just made, that they believe in that and they enjoy a lot better life, more peaceful life.
And that is, I think that is the number one mission that we are all on, is to make each other, to make each other feel part of our family, because we're part of the human family and we
Exactly.
need to treat each other. You know, Melissa, I was watching one of your podcasts. Yeah, I was doing some stalking on you too. And you were talking about immigration with a young lady, and you are part Hispanic, and I just love what you were talking about there in regards to that we need to take care of each other. That borders are, they're there for a reason, but we need to treat each other and not have such labels that we're having now of illegal aliens and bad people and all that kind of stuff. And because that's not, for lack of a better term, that's not Christ-like. I want us
Yes.
to live more of a Christ-like existence.
Yes, correct. Yes, I when I did that episode, I wanted people to know that even if there's a difference in opinion, people can come together and agree to disagree. And I wanted people to know, like, yes, I voted for Trump. Doesn't make me Nazi. It does not make me evil in my beliefs, but I'm I have different I agree with some things, and I wanted people to know that just because we voted for someone doesn't mean we agree with everything. Just like in a household, I said this on another recent podcast. A wife and husband don't agree on everything. We don't agree with everything with our children. So I wanted people to understand that if we can respect that, just because we voted a certain way does not mean that we agree with everything going on. I do believe that that's why I read two Bible scriptures, that there's a balance to everything. And but there's also a way of doing things. We have to have order at our borders. I do want a border, but at the same time, I feel that people who are here to make an honest living, who have been here over 5 years, should be able to stay here. But I believe that there's ways to give them a social security, a temporary, so they can pay their taxes. I feel there's ways of doing things to where we can coexist with everyone without so many rules or people fighting on both ends. Because in reality, on both sides, it's not very godly right now. And so I wanted to make it clear that the young lady that I was interviewing, she went through so much trauma with deportation and stuff with her mother. But I wanted people to understand that we're really good friends. She's one of my best friends, and we love each other and respect each other opinion. And her mother actually said that there needs to be order in that there we do need to do things the right way. And so this is coming from someone who was deported. So with that being said, because I'm half Hispanic and I know where my family comes from, I'm half white. And I made a joke. I said I had some family that swam across and I had some family that came on the boat. And we just laughed and it was such a beautiful interview because we were very real and transparent and very vulnerable with each other. And that's what we need to be, you know? We need to be honest.
Well, and I would like to submit this, Melissa. And by the way, Michelle's back. Michelle, welcome back.
Bye.
And
Hi, oh my
but
gosh. They're
and
testing us today, but Kevin, continue with your thought because I have one as well.
um, here's what I was thinking, and somebody's going to have to help me here. Okay, I I'm half German. I'm a quarter French. I'm Indian, and the rest of the quarter of me is Irish, Scottish, and Indian. Okay, I present myself as a white guy. However, I'm half German. So I don't understand, and somebody needs to help me. I don't understand what the difference is between being half German and half Hispanic or Mexican or Guatemalan or from another part of the country, only because it dictates how we look. It doesn't dictate who we are. And so when people look at me, they say, "Oh, he's an all-American white guy." Well, I'm half German, and Germany tried to kill us twice in the 20th century. So in World War I and World War II. So when you look at it that way, I am not 100% American. I'm half German. So that makes me, I could be a Nazi for all of it. So but my point is, I think that we overestimate and overthink what it's like
Mhm.
to be half black or half white or half Hispanic or half Asian or any of that. We're all still just people. And we all have hopes and we all have dreams and we all want to live our best life and we want to raise our kids to be happy and productive members of society and stuff. At least I think 99% of us. There are a few that have had
Mhm.
a really tough time. But does that make sense, Melissa?
It does make sense. It does. In reality though, in the way the world is, that's why I called it that's why I call it Dear Battered World. It would be great if everyone saw it like that, Kevin. Like you're very positive, you have a very uplifting spirit, and I love that about you. When I've watched you, I really love that positive outlook. Um, and I wish that people could all see it like that, Kevin. And in reality, people don't. If they did, there wouldn't be so much fighting on both sides and people being cruel to one another on both sides, you know? And in a perfect world, Kevin, everyone would act like you. They would behave like you. They would love like you. They would have your heart. And, you know, I wish, and my prayer and my thoughts is I wish that it would be that way one day. But unfortunate, no matter how hard we try, Kevin, on our podcast, on this platform, I believe and I have faith that and hope that we will reach many to be more positive and Christ-like and loving. But I also know that not everyone will come to the light. And let's just be real, you know, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. We're in a fallen world. But doesn't mean we're going to give up and not try to reach as many people as possible to having that Christ-like love and heart.
Rochelle, you were going to say something.
Yeah, my mind is going 100 million miles an hour. And Melissa, you know this from the interview we did with you. You know a little bit of my background as well. And I think it all comes down to understanding that we're spirit. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have to acknowledge and confide each other in the way of color, knowledge, vocabulary, whatever it is, right? Because even here, everywhere in the US, I mean, think about the people that are deaf. Think about the
Mm-hmm.
people that are blind.
Mm-hmm.
We don't treat them differently because they have a different color of skin. We just understand they're a little bit different and they need help. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's how we should maybe approach all things. Um, we are in existence as one, and we get to choose to separate that. But how powerful is it for I relate to Kevin, right? And you know my story, Melissa. I
Mhm.
have lots of family that is not legal in this country, and I do consider them my family. And Kevin has these different backgrounds, as do I. We're both German, we're both Native American. I've got a lot of Scottish, so that's probably why I'm really, really loud. And all these things that we use, oh well, they're different from us. And I said this on our last show, is if you don't understand something, it's often common to um push yourself away from that. But you here, Melissa, me and Kevin, that's why Positive Talk is here. For anybody who's listening, I am letting you know, as as the 26-year-old of my generation, that this is the difference that we can make. We can
Mhm.
understand that there's differences. We can understand that we don't understand some things, but we're here to
Mhm.
teach each other. If we all knew the same things and we all walked the same life, like, I'd probably kill everybody, because, like, how boring are you? Like, I've got to be number one, right? Like, and then there's that other of us that fall, that are like, please just take this away from me. And that's why we're here to provide. There's more to the world and an understanding. You don't have to accept somebody for the differences of they are. We're here to
Mhm.
teach each other. And do either of you agree that that's kind of the point, and why we're here in the world, is to understand how different we can be, and how we can create community in the same thing?
Melissa, I'll have you go first because it's ladies first here on Positive Talk.
Well, how polite of you.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
um, so I do agree. I do believe that, Christ's greatest commandment, he did tell us to love, right? He wanted us to love one another, and that's one thing that we're supposed to do. Um, so with that being said, my thoughts on all of this is this, that I really want us to be at peace with everyone, and that's the dream. The goal, the hope is for all of us to be at peace with others, with each other, and to coexist. But I believe that I don't look at people and, oh, you're different because your skin color or anything like that. And because I definitely don't want people to look at me that way. Growing up, where I was, there were times where, I didn't fit in on either side. And that's a whole nother show there. But with that being said, I do feel that, we are intended to love, and I do feel that we're meant to be at peace. But at the same time, I know that a lot of people feel like their heart's in the right place, and it may not be going the way it should, and it's coming off really ugly in a lot of areas. And so I
Yeah.
do believe that, like, again, I believe there should be order in the world, and I think there needs to be, there always has to, like I always say, a house divided can't stand. And if there's no order or structure in the home, it will fall. And so my opinions are very different, so like I do believe that. So I'm gonna just give you a thought real quick, Kevin and Rochelle. I know she disappeared again. Here's my thoughts, okay? So I do not.
And just so you know,
If
I'm
I
I'm
did.
I'm fully here. I
Okay,
just
hi
had to
Rochelle.
reconnect my other microphone.
Oh, okay. So here's my thoughts, okay? So the young ladies that I'm closest to, my friends, they're my
Mhm.
sisters. I call them my sisters. My
Right.
dad, all of them, okay? So my friends, most of them came from Mexico. They were born there, a lot of them.
Right.
And if not, our parents were, you know. But here's the thing on that. When we sit and talk, even their opinion on it is this. I do want them to, like, my family and them to be able to be here and to live and embrace the opportunity that America was meant to be. All of them. But in I would say the last 4 years or so, um, criminals, anyone who's been thought that who are proven to have commit a crime, or anyone who came across, I think that we do need to really even my friends feel this way. We sat down and we talked, because we don't know who was allowed over, and like with terrorism and just different things like that. So what I'm saying is the approach that is going on. I may not agree with it, but we do need to sort out who might have came across. It's not just people from Mexico. I'm not going to just say that. It's people who came from everywhere, and we don't know who was allowed in, and so I do believe that there is a lot of corruption and things, and I don't want to make it about that right now, but I do believe there's a lot of things that, we don't know, and I'm not going to assume that I do know, but I do want us to make sure that we are safe here, so my friends and we have said, and we've all been in agreement with this, because they even said, like, hey, we don't know who was here. We don't know who's been here. And we want to make sure that we're safe in America. So
Right.
that's what I I am for right now. Now, like I said, for my family who's here working hard, or anyone's family who's been here, past that 4 year time frame, um and they're proving to work and they're doing their part, whatever, then leave them be. But like I said, there's ways of giving them a temporary social, or helping them to become and make it more affordable for them to become citizens here, because it is pricey. So
Yep.
that's my thoughts on that, you guys. So with the people that came across, we have to understand that we can sit here and say, let's love and, harmonious, but let's be real on some matters here. We have got to make sure we are safe. We do not know who was allowed in and who came across, who was here and who has been here. That is going to mean harm to America and all of the citizens here, including those who are working hard, no matter what country they came from. So that's where my thoughts are at with that. And my friends who came from Mexico, who got their citizen, who did it the right way, and some of them who did not, and have not yet.
Yeah.
We agreed. We actually, instead of agree to disagree, we actually agreed on that. They were even in fear, because how many people have been killed or attacked and stuff like that by anyone from another country. So there has to be order and balance, just like in our homes. You guys are not going to sit there and let your kids just run wild and, you know, light fires in the living room, right? So America needs to be protected. And so what I'm saying is I am for anyone coming here to embrace the land of opportunity, the God-given right to be here and work hard and to be a part of us. We do need to love and coexist, but in a realism point of view, we have got to make sure there's order and structure, because a house divided and a house that's not protected will fall. So there
Yep.
has to be wisdom, not fear, wisdom. And
Right.
that's where I'm at with that.
Well, but you just said a bunch of stuff that leads to fear. You
It's not
just said that hold on. You just
okay.
said that we need to be fearful of the other. 99% of the people that have crossed the border have done so because they want asylum, because of where they were. Now, are there bad apples everywhere? There are. There was a guy that shot a policeman in Salt Lake City this morning. He's
Mm-hmm.
a white guy. There was another guy that is making anti-Semitic stuff, and he's a white guy. So it's not the matter of the other from another country. We have to relook at everything that we are thinking about and doing to each other and for each other, because that's what's not going to stand.
Yeah.
Is we've got to be kind. We've got to be kinder to each other and sympathetic to everybody's viewpoint. And the reason, and Melissa, the reason that I feel strongly about this is I was a restaurant manager in the 80s, and some of the best employees I ever had were
Mm-hmm.
Hispanics and were illegal aliens, because they couldn't get their green card. Brachelle's mother from another mother person who is kind of her boyfriend's mom was working in a in a Mexican restaurant or a taco factory for a long time, for like 9 years. She tried to do it the right way. They did not. She was waiting for 7 years. Was that right, Michelle?
Way more than that. I mean, me and my ex got together when, I mean, we were 17 to 19 years old before this happened. And Melissa, what you and Kevin are saying coexist in the same way of how we think of things, because
Mm.
there's this identity of fear and the unknown, and there's also the opposite of it that coexists. That's why do we do this, right? So in the misunderstanding, we can actually come together, because if you don't understand something, you can find someone or some of the other half to explain that and give you that view. We aren't grown up to have the same coexistence for a reason, but also if we choose to fear each other and humanity and existence as it is, that gives us less opportunity. Because there's people that have been here for way longer than my mother-in-law was, and she is the most amazing woman I have ever met in my life. And she gave me things my own mother didn't give me. But if I would have chose to see her differently because what spoke a different language and was a different social aspect of us, we get to choose whether we harmonize those two or not. And that's where we come together in this world. Is there's differences for a reason, and we're here to teach each other. We're not here to separate those indifferences. And I know both of you can agree on the same thing, as to where maybe life is different and maybe we are whatever else that separates us. It's really just nonsense, because I don't know if you guys have seen what's been going around on social media, which I'm thankful for once, is this nervous system that creates the person you are, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you act, and you have control of that. It is not set inside and it's not set in stone. And that's why
Mhm.
me and Kevin create this existence of this positive radio, is because it doesn't matter who comes on our show. And
Mhm.
but it is so important of sharing each other's beliefs, sharing each other's understanding, be able
Mhm.
to mend the two together and understand that
Mhm.
there isn't borders. There isn't Costa Rica, and pray for Jamaica right now because they are going through hell. And there isn't just Utah and Seattle and wherever you are, Melissa, that divides us. We choose that. And when you have the freedom of understanding that, when you understand yourself, it takes
Mhm.
you so much further in life to understand. Let me back up. Not to understand other people, but to accept them. All
Mhm.
of this comes down to acceptance. I do or I don't agree with you. I do or I don't understand. I do or I don't this or that. But we can acknowledge that learning from each other can provide that. And we're using that to separate us, which really is just, there's no point in that. And Kevin, that's why I honor you so much for creating this platform that allows us to have these conversations from different pinpoints and perspectives and countries and all these things that really, what could bring us together we're using to separate us. Would I be wrong?
No. And Melissa, I think that you are correct. And I think your friends would all agree
Yes.
that our immigration system is completely broken.
Yep.
Mhm.
And we need good people to migrate here, to immigrate
Mhm.
here, because we don't, first of all, um, we're not making enough children. And so we need more people that are of good moral character, and those folks, and we need to our right now our government isn't even operating. It's shut down. and
Yeah.
and so when we need to, I'm
But
really
that's
hopeful.
opportunity, Kevin, right? That's what
Yeah,
allows us to mend.
exactly. And by the way, Melissa, have you ever heard of our friend Samuel, who is in Kenya?
I have not. I honestly have not.
Hey,
Well, Brachelle's
Samuel.
going to read this, and this is And Rochelle, can you see it? Oh, she went away again.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
Great conversation show. I'm happy to meet you guys, Kevin and Rochelle. In fact, I was brought up by a single mother here in the Kibera slums of Kenya because of poverty. From 2000 to 2018, I was a street boy collecting scraps to sell and get food and moving around the street of Nairobi City begging for food. But God is good. And I was rescued by a pastor. He guided and counseled me in 2020. And I started the organization of Restoring Hope for street kids, children's, and orphans, and for children coming from humble fortunes to give them food. And then he feeds them 350 kids on a weekly basis. That's the kind of, when we talk about positivity, that's what I want to create.
Exactly.
And we can all work together to do that. And it's such a shame. There's so much that we need to fix, and stuff.
Agree.
And this isn't a political show, and or a religious show. It's more of a spiritual, and we all can work together and be one, and stuff like that. So. But it's great to see you and great to have you here. I'm looking forward to
Thank
us.
you.
I'm looking forward to us having a great conversation when we can get together again.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much.
And you, I know that it's where are you, by the way, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm in Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, so
State of New Mexico.
is it Pacific time?
Mountain Standard.
Oh, okay. Because did you know that in Arizona they have like 2 or 3 different time zones? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So in any event, it's great to meet you and great to see you again. I met you before, so I need to wrap this up because Rochelle went away again, and she's got internet issues. But I'm looking forward to. We will reach out to you and we will rebook you and put you back on the show. And I'm looking forward to a great conversation with you. And even if you want to invite the friend that was on the podcast with you that you were talking about immigration, we can talk about that too. Oh, Rochelle's back.
Well, I appreciate it.
Rochelle, are you back? I don't know.
It was saying audio.
Rochelle, you
Hello,
back?
can you hear me?
Hi.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. You don't even want to see the messages I just sent Kevin, but this is why all things are possible. And we get to prove that by being here for one and another. So I'm thankful that you got to join us, and Melissa. I'm thankful, Kevin, that you have made all of this possible. And a big message we can take from each other is whether you understand or whether you don't, there's lessons to be learned, and it can teach you a lot about yourself, right?
And Melissa, I think you'll agree with this. It doesn't take any effort and no money to smile at somebody and say hello.
Yep.
I agree with you. Especially to help them.
Exactly.
Amen.
And that's really why we're all here. So, Melissa, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
So they can get a hold of me on several different platforms. So I am on Facebook under Melissa Lujan. And then I am also on TikTok and I'm under Melissa Lujan Missy. And then I am also on Instagram and I am also on X, Twitter. And hopefully here soon. No.
Yeah.
Well, you will be. And by the way, this episode is going to be on Substack, so we're going to play it in its entirety. So I'm looking forward to the next time we get together. And Rochelle, it's witching hour. It's time for you to be done. It's 5:15 your time.
Yes. Well, nothing can separate time or distance from meeting with you and Melissa as I do every day. And I think maybe all of us can take that into perspective when we're busy living our lives, to stop in the moment and say, hey, what I'm living in, the conversation I'm having is more impactful, more greater than I can maybe realize. So to be still and love each other as, well, I wouldn't say as your neighbor because I'm still working on that, so I'll be careful with that. To love each other and to give yourself and others as you do yourself. And that makes us focus on how we treat ourselves a little bit more. So I think that'll get us pretty far in this world.
I'm probably older than you two combined. just thought I'd share that. And
You lucky.
because of that, I grew up in the 60s. And in the 60s, there was the Flower Power movement, and there was also a group of guys that got together and they created a song that John Lennon wrote, The Gospel According to John Lennon, and it was All You Need Is Love. And then, of course, he gets assassinated. So well, I don't know what the lesson is there, but in any event, Melissa, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you for having me on here.
You betcha. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.